What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about the importance of A players inside of your business. For example, like we've done it for this brand where we recruited and trained people and A players to scale to, almost $500,000 a month. And I want to break down really what the differences are between an A player, a B player, and sort of the rest, and where you can actually find these people, how you can properly qualify them, and then when you hire them, train them, and even if you need to let them go, how to properly do that, and everything you need to know. Because one thing which you can already understand from this video is if you are in business and you want to play it big, okay, you're in the business of people. That's something which you're going to realize very, very quickly. It's all with people. Everything is just like managing people and pointing your fingers around, okay, hiring people, actually managing people, right? Telling them what to do, communicating properly, okay? So all these things are super important. And the second that you get to a certain level in business, especially e-com, this is important to point out because every YouTuber, right? Every e-com person on YouTube makes it look like, okay, you need to, do this, use these AI prompts to make the best ads, or you need to do that, right? But it's not really the hard part to get to a decent scale, right? You get pretty good at marketing pretty quickly if you just take it seriously for a certain period of time. But then beyond that, what happens is brands start to get very individual issues, very individual, unique problems, and it's not that easy anymore to scale from one level to the next. And so I want to kind of break down what exactly is the thing that prevents most people to scale, and it's the lack of brains in the business. It's the lack of A players. An A player is someone who immediately you hire them and they take work off of your plate. You notice immediately when you have an A player in your business. The problem is most people hire B players and players like no players at all, basically just any VA or any employee that they think is good because their first couple hires, but they have no clue what to look for. And this is like anything else. This is like with your first ad. The first couple hires that you're going to make are probably going to be bad. So you might as well do them anyways now. So like first rule that you're going to learn in this video is don't wait. Okay. Don't wait. Take action immediately, because these low leverage activities like graphic design, video editing, customer support, all of these things are, even though they are super important, and you will realize how important it is even for those low leverage things to have A players, and they do make you a lot more money if you hire proper people in there, you will still not have time to do this as a business owner after you start hitting like 1, 2, 3K days. Okay. I would say at that point, it's just about time to actually start hiring people, start hiring the first, for example, customer support rep, because you're going to get a lot of emails at that stage already, and someone has to answer them anyways. Okay. So that is kind of like basically the low leverage stuff that you're going to hire first. Now, the more you scale, what's going to happen is you go from just hiring anyone to having higher leverage activities. So it's basically the pool of people gets significantly smaller, the skill gets significantly more scarce, and so therefore it's significantly harder to find and train those people. So you go from finding or needing someone, looking for someone that essentially like you just want to have someone who's open to learn, who's young, who's hungry, who really is like showing levels of improvement, to someone in these higher leverage positions, maybe at some point even like just managing the team, hiring someone for that, like a CMO, for example, managing the creative team and the whole creative process. You look for experience. You look for nothing else but experience, but A players, like people who already have been doing this stuff for a while and are very, very good at what they do, okay? So the difference, and this is actually the most important thing in this video, the difference between an A player and a B player is usually that an A player, like you notice when you hire one the first second, but the problem is it feels like you hire an A player when you hire a B player too, okay? So usually you hire them, and what happens is, okay, well, B player, like, okay, a little bit, everything seems all right the first couple days and weeks kind of when hiring them, but then when it starts to happen is like, okay, well, the business doesn't grow like crazy. It's like, okay, there's no actual new input coming into the business. They do their stuff properly. They take work off of your plate. Don't get me wrong. They're doing whatever they're supposed to do very, very well, but nothing beyond that, nothing extra. And you might ask yourself, well, okay, well, why should I hire someone who, like, why should they do anything extra if I don't assign it to them? Well, that's what makes the business grow. Like if you're creative, imagine this, right? You're running your business, you have like 5 to 10K days, consistent, everything's cool, everything's all right? You just want to like looking for ways to scale, but you have your hands full of things with, which you had no idea that even existed. Maybe it's legal stuff, maybe it's supply chains, anything like that. And then all of a sudden, one of your creative strategists comes up to you and tells you, hey, I have this really cool idea of founder ads, and I've scripted out a whole thing. I need to do, let's get this done today, right? If your creative strategist strategist comes up to you and tells you that, that's a very, very good sign that that person is an A player. You need people that come into the business with their own thoughts, with their own brains, because even if you hire a B player and he does the high leverage work with a lot of experience really, really well, your business is not going to significantly grow. And the reason is because you are still the only person that actively thinks in the business. And it starts to grow when there's multiple people that think. Okay, so this is why when you hire C-suite positions like a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, or COO, right, for the operations, anything that you hire like on the high leverage skill point, whenever your their business is growing like very, very, very quickly, what you're gonna look for is actually people who can think. Okay, like besides all this experience stuff and all this like skill stuff, you look for people who actively come into the business with their own unique ideas, who want to see you win, who want to see you grow, and actually grow with you, okay? And obviously, those people will cost a lot of money. And so one of the next things where you can immediately see the difference between an A player and a B player is an A player wants to make a lot of money. Okay, that's one of the things which you're going to realize immediately. An A player is going to be the person who you have to convince not to start their own business, for example, right? An A player is going to be the type of person that's just going to be so hungry, maybe offer you like a revenue share, profit share model, whatever, maybe like a super insanely high salary, right? Those people are going to be extremely expensive. A B player is going to be happy with a mediocre salary. Okay, he's going to be happy to be in the business, and by all means, your business can still will still grow, but it's just like this is like the rule of, okay, how do we grow 20, 30, 50%, right? B player versus how do we 100x the business? This is A players. That's the big crazy difference. Okay, and obviously you're not going to want to hire the rest here below B players. Like this is something which you notice on the interview. This is something which you notice in the application. Like everything, you just notice that that's not the right person for you. And it's also super important to hire people who you personally resonate with, who you personally think they fit into the brand's culture. If they don't, it's not going to work out. Okay, that's one of the things which I've noticed in my experience. And so where to actually find these people? Now, I've written down three main places where we've found a lot of really cool, really good people who you can actually hire, who you can actually train, who you can actually properly engage with. And the first one is actually just headhunting, right? Or actually just poaching people. Second way is X or Twitter. And then we have LinkedIn and Indeed, right? So job posting platforms. Now, one thing which you got to understand, and this is especially, applicable to people who have ran or maybe are running like service-based businesses in the past, right? You as an e-com guy, you're not going to understand this very well because you're just dealing with numbers, with ads, with whatever, with marketing, but not really with sales, with leads, with prospects whatsoever, right? So what you have to understand is you have to treat your potential employees like leads, like people who you want to, you want them to buy something from you. Okay, so what would you do? Well, you would respond very quickly. You would obviously present yourself in the best way possible, right? You would expect from them that they respond very quickly and present themselves in the best way possible. Like you would do all these special things, and you will actually put in an effort in terms of trying to get the good people, because they're not going to hand themselves on the silver platter. And so one of the first ways of how we do this and how we find A players is headhunting them. And this is something which you think, okay, well, this is not cool, right? Why would they come? Why would they leave? Whatever. But if they have no non-compete that they sign, which good brands do, but you can still sometimes get them waived. And so like headhunting people, what that means, poaching people, is you walk up to like the best creative strategist that that obviously already has a job, because that person does not struggle with, finding a job. And what you do is you walk up to them and tell them, hey, I don't know how much you make, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to pay you double, right? So this is, for example, a very cool way of getting really, really good A players. And usually the ROI is a lot higher than from a B player, okay? So this is what you need to understand. Now, the second best way is X, in my opinion. So like there's a lot of really cool people, surprising big amount of good, great people on Twitter. And so you just got to honestly use the right, words in the post. You got to kind of post the right stuff, be in the right groups and whatnot. And so then it's like you can really find some cool people there. Keep in mind, on X, it's a little bit more quantity over quality. So you have to filter through a lot of also like lower quality types of employees. But it's just what it is. Okay. It's still Twitter at the end of the day. And then, the third way that I've written down is, LinkedIn and Indeed. Okay. So you're basically leading with super normal job posts. These are going to be very experienced, a little bit older, a little bit more. Yeah. These are really cool if you're like a super young founder, like we are basically. And so these guys actually taught us a lot too. So if someone's already, like in their late 30s, you can learn a lot about business from your employees. And that's a pretty cool part too, because you'll learn and make money from them. So that's extremely fun. And obviously it's a win-win because they make more money too. So this is kind of the third way that I've written down here. Now, I just wanted to make this quick video, honestly, just so you kind of get a better picture of how this is going to look like and what all of your time is basically going to be spent at when you're at a super high scale. You're not going to actually sit there and copyright your own ads, for example, anymore. So that was pretty much it for this video, guys. I want to say thank you so much for giving me your most important asset, which is your attention. Thanks for watching. I wish you a beautiful day.